Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of New Mexico. So, we got a new property. This is up in San Juan County. I'm very excited about this because it's been in escrow for literally 3 months. 3 months! Perhaps you're thinking, there must have been some horrible title issue with this or some encumbrance that had to be cleared. Nope, it was free and clear. No, there were no problems, and it still took 3 months. Don't get me started, people. Anyway, this is reference number SJNM 4393. It's up in San Juan County in the northwest part of the state. It is roughly 4.5 acres, and it is priced affordably so at $15,000. If you guys want to get a better sense of what this property looks like, I encourage you to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. We're going to have a drone video that we're going to upload right below the photo gallery, photos from the property, of course. Drone video will be down here. Watch that. You'll get an excellent sense of the land, the terrain, the surroundings, so on and so forth. Anywho. All right, so as you can see from the headline here, guys, this is power and paved road access, no zoning restrictions, and close to the marina. There's a lot of good stuff about this piece of property and a lot to unpack here, so let's get to it. As with all of our lots, and I'm sorry I'm scrolling so much, come down here, click on the GPS coordinates. Any one of these 5 is going to bring this up on the Google Maps and show you exactly where it is. So this property sits right here off of County Road 4599. It is, if we go to map view, you can see this triangle right here, which sits right off the road. And actually, if you come down to the gallery here, we have this, we always do these outlines, these Google Earth satellite outlines of the property, and hence you can get some sort of sense of what the terrain is like by reviewing these. Of course, we also have, like 40 photos taken from the property itself, which I would also encourage you guys to review right here. And you will get an excellent sense of the land and what it is like out there. Anywho, we'll come back to that in a bit. So, let's talk about where this is in relation to the rest of the world. Within San Juan County, you have Bloomfield, which is right over here. This property is about 12 miles west of Bloomfield. You've got Aztec over here. You're about 15 miles away from Aztec, and you're about 25 miles away from Farmington, which is the county seat here in San Juan. All of these towns are pretty happening little small towns. They've got a lot going on. As you can kind of see here from satellite view, you can kind of see the cluster of population density here and how developed these regions are. If you want to take time and zoom in here, you'll have these things pop up, which will give you a sense of what's out there. First Baptist Church of Bloomfield. You've got a hospital. You know what? I'm not going to be able to find it quickly enough. You've got a hospital out here. You've got 2 casinos along the way between Farmington and Bloomfield, Sunray Park Casino and the Northern Edge Casino. And then as you go into Farmington, you have got, see, casinos. As you go into Farmington over here, you've got things like the Walmart Supercenter, and you've got the Four Corners Airport. I will also mention that Farmington Lake is pretty close by as well. It's this one. Yes. Boom. So a lot of things to do out there. Point being that you're just a a few 10-minute drive or whatever from things like groceries and supplies. And if you got kids and you got to take them to school, they're probably going to be going to school somewhere here in Bloomfield, so on and so forth. I will also note, and I'll get back to this in a bit, that this property sits just 10 miles west, measure distance, 10 miles, 9 miles, whatever, of the Navajo Marina. Navajo Marina, of course, is the second largest body of water in the state of New Mexico, and there's a lot to do out there, but I will circle back to that in a bit. Let's talk about the specifics of this property, the land over here. So, first off, paved road access. The property sits right here off a paved road. Not difficult to get to. Number one. Number two, as you can see by the houses that are around here, all the people living out here, you have things like power lines, phone lines hooked up all across the south end of the street. Will not be difficult to get extended out to the subject property. I'm not sure what the source of water is for all these lots. I find it hard to believe that they're all using wells. That being said, I'm not familiar with the water line situation out there. Whatever the case, you can actually, this is one of the rare properties we can do this with. You can zoom in here on Google Earth and you can see what the land is like out here, as well as by reviewing our photo gallery. But you can also see what the neighbors have set up over here. A lot of these people are using, they've got trailers they've set up, cement foundations, things like that. So obviously this is something you could do out here, which you can't do in a lot of parts of New Mexico, which is set up a mobile home, modular home trailer, etc., and live out of that. So far better to own the land than to be paying rent on it year after year if you are in that situation, or if you're looking to downsize and move into that situation. Anywho, so let's go back to this view right here. And by the by, as noted earlier, click through any of the photos that we have in the gallery. As with all of our properties, we get photos taken from the subject property itself. These are not things that we pull off of Google image search. So this will give you an excellent sense of the land, as well as things like just, the beautiful views that you have out here with the skies and the mesas and etc. I should also note it's been raining a lot in New Mexico lately, which is why this land looks so green. I don't think it normally looks this green. But yeah, that's what it looks like right now. As you can see, there's one of the homes across the street. And actually, if we come down further in the gallery, I think we'll see more of, well, for instance, the header photo here. This is the subject property right here, and here are some of the neighbors once again. Anywho, and as you can see, there's the power lines that are around it. Let's go back here a bit. Yeah, power lines, phone lines, so on and so forth. So probably not difficult to get hooked up to the subject property. All right, so as noted earlier, I was talking about the Navajo Marina. Every time I sell a property in San Juan County and I make one of these videos, I always like to talk about the marina. So first off, one of the things I really like about this area is that you're in close proximity not only to this thing. If you own a boat, you can go there, or you can go to nearby Rio Arriba County, to the El Vado, to the Huron Lakes, to the Abiqui Lake, which is down here. So there's a lot of great opportunities for boating in the area. If you don't own a boat, of course, you can come out here and you can rent one. I'll just have you guys note that on our listing page here, we have this points of interest section. If you click on any one of these links, it's going to bring up these respective listing pages. These are all the sort of kind of cool things that you can do that are an easy driving distance of the property. The Navajo Dam Marina is the one that I like to point out most. I've got this queued up. Hang on. So it shows you all the things that you can rent out here, boat rentals, kayaks, things like that. But they also have houseboats that you can rent, these big 48-foot type things, and take the family and friends out there onto the lake. So it's really cool. I'd highly encourage you guys to check out this website because they have a lot to offer, and fishing guides and so on and so forth. So there's a lot to do out there. Now, more to the point, whenever I talk about this property, I like to bring up the fact that living up here in San Juan County, this is not just a seasonal property. It's not like you can only enjoy the lake 6 months of the year and then you have nothing to do the rest of the time. And the reason is because this property sits in close proximity to some of the best skiing in the country. You've got Telluride, Colorado, which is right up here about an hour north of the property. And you've got the Taos Ski Valley, which is about 2 hours east of the property. As noted with our points of interest section here, we also have links to things like the Telluride tourism site where you can scroll through here and see what there is to do out there, all the restaurants and things like that, places you can go skiing, as well as things to do in Taos when you're out there. And Shiprock, by the way, guys, whenever I make these videos, I always neglect to talk about Shiprock, but Shiprock is this site to behold that sits here in San Juan County. And I always talk about it, and I never have an image prepared, so I want to just prepare an image. This is Shiprock, and it sits not too far from the property. So there's a lot of things to like about this property. Proximity to this marina, which is a pretty happening little place, is just one of them. You've also got all the great skiing as well as the nearby lakes. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, all right, so let's talk about this. In the headline here, we have this assertion that there are no zoning restrictions. Now, lately, I've been trying to buy a lot of properties in places that are low maintenance when it comes to zoning, because I know that a lot of you guys like properties where you can do things like just park an RV for a long period of time, or camp on it, or build a tiny home, or whatever. San Juan County, particularly unincorporated San Juan County, which is where this piece of land falls, there are no zoning restrictions in that area. Now, let me quickly say this. If you scroll down here on the page, we've got helpful county contact information. If you call the building division, if you click on this link, it's going to bring up this website. This guy, Larry, is who we usually talk to when we want to know, can we do this, can we do that on a property? Of course, I cannot think of every question I'm going to get asked. Recently, I had somebody call and ask if they can create a hemp farm in this one part of San Juan County, and that's above my pay grade. Larry, however, will not be above Larry's pay grade, so I highly encourage you guys to give Larry a call and just make sure that whatever it is that you have planned, that you'll be able to do out there. Now, let's be clear about a few things. If your plan is a single-family residence, if you're going to go build a house, nobody's ever going to object to that. If you're going to put up a trailer, a mobile home, whatever, clearly all the neighbors are doing it, so that's not going to be a problem. I'm talking about things like the aforementioned hemp farm or something like that. And I just quickly before I get back to that, here you can see you've also got all the phone numbers that you can call about getting an address for the property, about getting things like a septic permit, mobile home permit, so on and so forth. So while they have no formal zoning in this area, they do have some you know, obviously some permits, some rules that you need to abide by, so on and so forth. When I was researching this property, I thought it might fall into Bloomfield jurisdiction. It doesn't, but should you need to talk to anybody in Bloomfield, obviously you have all these good contact numbers right here. And of course, Farmington Electric Utility, you can call them, try to get some sort of estimate as to what it would cost to get power out to the property. Anyway, getting back to this, in regards to the zoning, should you call the county, should you call anybody out there and you want to talk to them about, hey, I'm looking to buy a piece of property and, you know, here's what I want to do. Can you tell me if I can do that sort of thing? Typically what they're going to ask you is what's the address of the property. These properties, of course, because they're vacant land, don't have formal addresses. The county or the city person who you're talking to will usually then default to what's the legal description. This legal description, of course, reads like Chinese. So if I were you, I would ask them if they could look it up by parcel number. This is the APN right here, Assessor Parcel Number. Sometimes it's called the UPC, Universal Parcel Code. Typically, if you give them that, if you give Larry something like that, Larry can figure out where the property is, and he can speak in more specifics about what. I've never had anybody tell me that something can't be done out there, but I don't usually call and ask things about hemp farms. So if you do have questions about that, you know, here's the other thing I would point out. Because this is sitting on a major county road, they may say you can do whatever you want, but my guess is you start putting something up out there, the cops drive by 5 or 7 times, or the neighbors, you know, get weird about it, people are going to call. This isn't a property that's tucked away in some secluded corner of San Juan County. This one's right out in the open. So, you know, as noted, if your notions are about building a house or putting up a trailer or something, you know, you're not going to have any problem with that. But if you want to do something that's not the norm, I would investigate that first. Anyway, all right, I've belabored that topic enough. Let's talk about how to buy this specific property. So, as with all of our properties, we have a buy now button here. I just want to be clear. This earnest money deposit, this $500, this is not an installment sale. We don't want $500 down and then $100 a month for the next 36 years. We're looking for somebody who's prepared to pay the entire $15,000 up front. Now, of course, we like to see that the buyer is serious. We like to have them put down some amount of money. In the past, I've asked for $1,000. Lately, I've been asking for $500. I think $1,000 is too much. Whatever the case, we're going to recommend that you close through title and escrow on this property. Now, we close on this through San Juan Title, which means that we have clear and marketable title on this property. And theoretically means that they should be able to convey it to you pretty quickly. I don't know if practically speaking that will be the case. Whatever the case, if you come up here to how it works, buy from us, click on that. It's going to take you to this page. It's going to discuss more about ways in which we can close on this property. One of the reasons we don't ask for $15,000 up front is I just don't assume most people have a credit card that can accommodate that. I also assume most people don't want to pay that kind of amount over the internet. They want to close through a third party, a title company, something like that. It's perfectly reasonable and understandable. So if that's something you want to do, just read this section. Here's how this is going to work. You put down the $500 deposit. We're going to write up a contract. The contract, by the way, is going to look like this. Click on this link. It'll bring up one of our standard sale purchase agreements. 2-page agreement, 1 page for signatures. But basically, you sign it, we submit it to the title company, and they will do the rest. Probably slowly. Anywho, whatever the case, to get that process started, just come down here, click the Buy Now button, and you'll be directed to a secure checkout page where we will ask you for some information. Name for the deed, tax address, so on and so forth, and on the next page you can fill out the credit card information. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope this was informative. If you have any questions, give us a call, 702-919-7170. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment, leave a question down below, and we will get back to you toot sweet. Or, guys, email us, support@hemingwayland.com. Almost forgot that one. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.